evening. Once again, welcome back to Cheltenham Exchange Review show for day 4 of the Cheltenham Festival. Again, we have myself, John Evans and Ian Rayner. We've also got Alex Galpin, and we have Lauren Fahy, who features on the Understarters Borders Racing podcast. We'll kick straight off with the Jcb Triumph Hurdle at 1:30, where we had Vauban, the winner, Fildor second, and Piper in third. Ian, we'll come to you first.
Well, this is one I missed. I had backed Fildor at Christmas time when it was quite impressive. It won its previous 2 or 3, and quite a nice each-way price. And I fancied Pied Piper, so having beaten Vauban, I can't remember if it was at the Dublin Race first or not, but it was around that time. And an impressive winner again. So we re-watching the race, Vauban seemed to be the one that had the most improvement, you could say, or most ability going into that, winning 2.5 lengths. And Pied Piper, who I had finish third in the end. But yeah, very impressive performance. There's potentially talk of Vauban going into the Champion Hurdle next year, which was quite interesting when they interviewed Richie at the end. But yeah, not a good start for me again on the first day. But yeah, Vauban, very impressive.
Yeah, John?
Yeah, I mean, this was one of the most enjoyable races of the week for me. I think the first 3 in the race were absolutely excellent. Obviously, Vauban, the pick of them. I'd only backed him on the day in a small Trixie, so I did cover him sort of on the day. I was a Fildor fan, the same as Ian. Thought he ran a cracking race. He shows a lot of guts. He does find a bit off the bridle. He's definitely one to keep on the right side of next year when he's probably stepped up in trip. Pied Piper also very good. Obviously, he sort of got a dead heat at the weekend as well, but he was thrown out, wasn't he? Bit controversially, really. So I think he's a very good horse as well. I'd also keep an eye on some of the ones in behind, actually, going forward, because I just think this was a very strong race. So, yeah, I really enjoyed the race. Vauban, brilliant. Be interesting to see if he does go down the Champion Hurdle route next year. But Fildor's the one I'm taking out of there all day long for going up in trip. I think he'll be a great horse.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, it was a great race for Vauban and very impressive winner. I think Fildor's going over fences next year as well, isn't he? I think he said. Could be one, maybe something like the Turners. One further down that finished 5th, that I'm hoping they might put away now. I don't know if he's got any entries at Punchestown or not, but is Ante-Post.
Yes.
He's pulled a hell of a lot all the way around. I think he could be, if they keep him to novice company for next year, he could be one for something like the Supreme next season. Potentially maybe Ballymore if Fahy Vega's going to be the main one. Other than that, I haven't got a lot more to say. So, Lauren, have you got much to say on this race?
Yeah, I'm just seeing if I can answer your question about if he's going to go to Punchestown or not. And he entered in the Champion 4-year-old at Punchestown, along with Fildor, Gaelic Warrior, Brazil, Vauban, Iker Allen, Pied Piper is in that too. So, I mean, it's
good chance he could stay a novice then.
Yeah, I was all over Vauban. I wasn't looking anywhere else in this race. Having seen him with my own eyes at Leopardstown, I didn't see any reason why the form was going to be reversed. And kind of aside from that, personally, for me, I'm always going to favour Willie's over Gordon's personally. That's just me, but it seemed to have done me well this festival for sure. Yeah, I think Vauban was mightily impressive. If you read the kind of summary on the Racing Post, it finishes by saying led, going best, approaching last, good jump last, ridden and went clear, running comfortably. I think in such a good quality race, that really tells you all. I mean, he only won by oh no, I'm reading the one from Leopardstown. Hang on.
He won anyway, Lauren. He won anyway.
It's not going to be too far off, is it? Let's read
very similar.
This is what I wanted to say. Yeah, ridden briefly and went clear inside final 110 yards readily. And although it's only 2.5 lengths, he won by, like, you know, he hardly had to ask him at all. I think he was so impressive.
He had plenty of horses doing.
Yeah, definitely a really interesting one stepping into open company next year. Willie does, you know, we know that Honeysuckle it's her final year and she'll be going for the Champion Hurdle again, and Willie's tried with so many horses to beat her and hasn't been able to. I think he's going to throw everything that he can at her next season. I think Vauban will be one of those that he has a go with, but I'm not sure she's going to be too worried personally.
Fair enough. Alex, you got much to say?
Not really. Pretty much the same as what everybody else has said. Once again in this race, I've had my standard thing at the moment of backing a horse a race too early. On this, I sided with Night Salute.
Oh God!
Aintree.
Alex.
That'd have been a nice double, Alex.
Wow.
Very much so. Yeah, if I ever tip anything, don't back it when it runs. Back it the next
Following
time.
run.
Yeah.
Yeah, what happened to Night Salute in this race? It's so I completely disregarded him for Aintree because of the way he ran here. I can't believe he.
Yeah,
well,
I watched the race back, and from about 2 furlongs out, Paddy just eases him. He just gives him a really easy time because he knows he's not going to get up there.
Yeah.
Saved him for another day, which obviously worked
he
out
was
quite
just
well.
too far back, and he didn't jump particularly great. And then Paddy just let him coast to the finish, really.
Yeah, good bit of riding, we can say now.
Shame I didn't read that before he ran at Aintree.
Right, we'll move on to the county hurdle, and we'll start with who was the biggest Stateman fan. Ian, you were, weren't you?
I was very happy man. So he was. I think, as we said in the review, he was the class horse of the race, and it proved it right. So he won by a length and a half. Beat another Henderson horse in second. He seemed to be a theme for the few days. But yeah, you could see he's the Grade 1 horse of the race, and a plot job if you want to call it that. But yeah, great ride. I think it led from 2 out, or just went into 2 out. I'm trying to think what the other one I picked out. Oh, the other one I picked out was I Like to Move It, and similar sort of thing. I won with 1, and then the other one was absolutely stonewall last in 18th. It seemed to have a lot of form. I think it was the Tristan Davis horse I Like to Move It, but yeah, it just didn't seem to run any sort of race. Weakened about 2 out, 3 out, and not much to write about. But yeah, very impressive State Man. Again, I'm not quite sure. I've heard mixed messages where potentially might go next season. I've heard a couple of reports that Willie's even thinking about putting State Man on the flat, but and something else I've heard, maybe going stepping up, maybe going 2.5 miles somewhere, whether he goes chase or not. But no, very, very happy with State Man, and but sadly not with my each way pick.
Yeah. John, you were a bit of a state. Were you a State Man? No, you were my mate Mozzie, weren't you?
Yeah,
mainly?
yeah. I actually put a State Man in this one as my pick in the end.
Oh right.
And I have made my mate Mozzie as my other one. But yeah, I mean, he travelled well. He was the graded horse and handicap, wasn't he? The old cliche. He came there swinging, and there was only one winner for me. He caught the eye from a few out, where you could just pick him out a mile off, and you thought that there's your winner there. My mate Mozzie ran okay. I think some firms were doing 8 places on the day, and he actually finished 8th. So I did get something back on a couple of each way accumulators or something on the day, or lucky 15s. He just was carrying too much weight, just not good enough in that race. But yeah, State Man's definitely one to follow for next season. I'm looking forward to seeing what path he takes.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I think he was one I backed on the day with the Hills boost, but only because you two were very keen on him. My others, I had Eclair de Beaufort that led till about 2 out, and then just fell back and finished 22nd. And the other one that I mentioned when I had another when I was drinking when we had the preview was I started looking at Ballyadam 50-1. He finished 5th. Other than that, nothing else.
Yeah, Ballyadam's he's kind of lost his way a bit, hasn't he? Which is just so disappointing. I mean, I was, coming up to the Supreme, when Appreciate It won, I was thinking, well, I've got to cover Ballyadam as well, because although Appreciate It was kind of the obvious choice for everybody, he'd been a really good horse all season, and now, the following year he's 50-1 in the county hurdle. I mean, it's a fall from grace for sure, isn't it? I thought to finish 5th was actually quite good from him. My selection pre-race was West Cork, who I think probably had his big day back in November, where that was, a serious training performance. He'd had 300 and however many days off the track to then go and win the Greatwood. But I think that was his big day of the season. But 4th wasn't too bad. And then, State Man was just one of those that I was throwing into the accumulators to try and boost the prices here and there. Like you guys have already said, a bit of that old cliche, being the graded horse in the handicap. So he did it very well, didn't he? I've just had a look at the entries as well on him. He's 7-2 favourite for the Champion Novice Hurdle, which is on the Tuesday at Punchestown. Constitution Hill is in that as well, along with Dysart Dynamo and El Fabiolo. So,
wow,
not sure if they're all good. I mean, when you look at the entries, there's John Bonser Gerhard Flame Bearer as well in there. So
interesting what they do with Sir Gerhard in that, because he's also entered in the 2 mile 4 race as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
Friday.
Yeah. You think now that he's stepped up and won, and people were so confident.
Just jumping as well, didn't it? As well.
Yeah. Although I'm going to defend him, because everybody said he jumped terribly at Leopardstown, and I think he jumped half of the fences not great, but the other half he did jump well. He's not a bad jumper. I think some people have really capitalized on that. Someone has originally said he's a bad jumper, and now everybody thinks he's a bad jumper all of a sudden, which I don't think is fair at all.
I think if he'd have jumped fluently at Leopardstown, he'd have been facing Constitution Hill.
I know. I've been backing him for the Supreme for months and months and months, so I was gutted that he went to the Ballymore and had to take that short price. But I guess if he does go in the 2 mile race there, then does that mean that Willie is then thinking, well, I've got him and Vauban to aim at the Champion Hurdle and really throw as many darts as he can at it? He hasn't won it for a couple of years now, a few years now, so he'll be wanting to find the winner, won't he?
Yeah. Alex, I know you were a big fan of West Cork before the...
Yeah, same. I was a big fan of West Cork. He ran an absolute blinder in that Greatwood, and that form has worked out ridiculously well. He just didn't quicken as much as the others up the hill. He's run since as well. He was second in the Scottish Champion, so it's not the worst form.
He was winning that race until Anna Bonina came from the depths of nowhere.
No way. Yeah. It's a bit disappointed really with him. I thought I was going to get at least second, to be honest. But it's one of those things, isn't it? You come up against a much better handicap horse, the cliche graded horse in a handicap. Not too much you can do.
The county's one of them as well. You've got to get a look in a decent run on you, because if you get stuck behind one, your chance gone by the time the others have kicked.
Absolutely.
Okay, move on to the Albert Bartlett, where we had the Nice Guy, very impressive in first, Manella Kakuna in second, and Barden's Town Lad finishing third. Who wants to kick this one off?
Sounds like Barden's Town Lad was a bit of a plot job for some of you guys, no? With the reaction.
Yeah, we were all on it.
Yeah, we backed it 50-1.
I've already gone into him for the national event next season.
Oh, I need to do that.
Um,
But yeah, I'll go if you want, Matty. So it was.
yeah.
So we said in our previous reviews, I think the two that we originally backed was Hollow Games, which unfortunately ran in the Marlin Pipe in the end, and Bardenstown Land that we'd all backed at 50-1 just after its run at Cheltenham, I think in October. So he was quickly, frantically trying to get the 50-1 price. A brilliant third. I know it's still about 9 lengths behind the Nice Guy, but definitely one to take out. I think that Matty said it's definitely one to keep an eye out for the National Hunt Chase. Unfortunately, it's the sad note of it was I backed Ginto in the race, and coming up to I'm not quite sure when the incident happened. I don't think it was just before the
last
first.
he pulled up.
Yeah, and it seemed to look like a piece of sand or dirt, and I don't know if that was affected it, but you just see his leg go, and that ruined the race a bit for me when I saw that.
Yeah.
Just
He was coming to
Johnny
the
going
race,
so well.
by the way.
Me and Johnny were right on the rail watching that, and it was just he comes swinging, and we say he's going to win it, and then it was horrible to like. The doctor come back over, and someone had said, "Oh, how is he?" He said, "The jockey's fine, but he thought hasn't made it."
Yeah. Yeah, it was just seeing that. I normally stand in the finish line, just seeing it on the big screen when that happened. It was just like, one of them moments. But yeah, it's a sad way to see it. It seemed to tarnish the race for me. In regards to the winner, the Nice Guy, I can't say hand on my heart that I knew much about the horse, to be honest. I said another Mullins winner, but I can't pretend and say that I knew much about his form or his about it. But no. Nice performance, five lengths winner. Maybe one to keep an eye on for next year. But yeah, it's a bit sad really with that race for me.
Yeah. Lauren.
Yeah, I think similar to you, Ian, with the Nice Guy. I don't know how we haven't all noticed him really, because he's an unbeaten horse from 4 races. Okay, so he was Evans' favourite in one of them and 6-5 in another. But with his previous runs, he's obviously a good horse. So it's a bit of a shame that that we didn't manage to find that. But I wonder why he was 18-1 in the end. Is that perhaps because there was so much riding on horses like Hillcrest that he was the big British hope? So I wonder if that had kind of just detracted from some of the others in the betting.
Could be that he probably wasn't one of the higher profile ones. As you say, you got Manila Kakuna and you got Hillcrest and Ginto. It probably went under the radar a bit, to be honest. And
Nice guy.
He
won 2 bumpers over 2 miles starting in November. Then he won 2 mile 3 in January, and then stepped up to the Bartlett. Maybe that's why people didn't give him much of a chance.
Yeah. Willie Mullins knows what he's doing, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So I do a bet every year which is another bit of a crazy one, but I normally find a £5 free bet somewhere that I can put on this one, and it's to do all of the main kind of novice races. I think it was a 7-timer this year, and I needed Hillcrest to win a big pot. And I mean, I could see from very early on that the big pot was not going to be coming in.
No.
So that was
didn't travel at all today.
No.
Yeah, so that was pretty disappointing. And then like we've already touched on the loss of Ginto, when I really thought he was. Once you know that you haven't got a chance in the race, you watch it differently, don't you? Yeah. You can pick up on more things because you're not just tunnel visioned onto your runner. And yeah, coming round the bend, I really thought that Ginto was going to come and take it from everybody. But yeah, really sad that we won't get to see him again. I think he was a really good one.
I've done a silly free bet out of the 3 of those this year. I've done the Nice Guy for the RSA, Kakuna for the Turners, and Bardenstown Lad for the National Hunt Chase. Just love the free bet treble on and forget about it.
Yeah, that'd be great form for this race, wouldn't it?
Who haven't we been to?
Me.
Alex.
Go on, Johnny. Do you want to go first,
Alex
Johnny?
first.
Go on,
Alex
Alex, you go
first.
for it.
Oh,
Go for
okay.
it.
My big selection for this was Hillcrest, and it just bombed out. I think he's massive, isn't he? I know that said a lot, but I think he's going to make a really good chaser next year. So obviously going to keep following him. I'm surprised with some of the post-race comments and what's come out since. People saying about the nice guy saying they're going to look to go over fences with him. To me, he just looks tailor-made, like completely made for the Stayers Hurdle. I think it looks like quite an open race for next year. And if he was mine, I'd be aiming him for that next year. Unless they think maybe going forward he could be a Gold Cup horse. I don't know. Looks like a proper Stayers Hurdle type to me.
Nothing was reported on Hillcrest afterwards either, was there? Just jockey reported that the gelding was never travelling. Trainer could offer no explanation for apparent poor performance, and the vet reported that post-race examination failed to reveal any abnormalities.
He didn't jump a twig.
No,
He was, really disappointing. So
just didn't travel at all, did he?
You know your fate quite early on. So
Yeah.
I don't know if that's better or worse than being beaten by a nose, but yeah, maybe it's a debate for another time.
Yeah. John?
Yeah, just wondering while you're talking about Hillcrest, if that race at Haydock maybe took more out of him than everybody thought, perhaps, because the ground wasn't great that day, and maybe he just needed a bit more time, perhaps. But I can't really add much more to what the guys have already said. Really, I mean, the Albert Bartlett did what the Albert Bartlett generally does, and that's just throw up a winner out the blue that nobody else is on. So it happens time and time again. This race. It's. I was happy with Barden Stownlad's performance, which is a horse that obviously a few of us put up. Ran a belting race. The 50s was a good price. I'm not sure what price he went off on the day in the end. Was he? Yeah. So I mean, still a decent price on the day. So you can find some decent ones on the day in this race. But yeah, I'm hoping that they step him up to go chasing with him and go the national and chase, because he's sort of horse that just finds and maybe 3 mile 6 will be just his bag next season.
It's interesting what happens with the winners of this race, isn't it? Because Manila Indo won this a few years ago, and he was 40-1. So, and we all know what he's done since. So, yeah.
Okay. We'll move on to the Gold Cup, and we will start with Lauren.
Wow. I mean, this is just so enjoyable. I thought I really, sometimes there's hype for, and quite rightly so, for races like this, when you've got so many really talented horses and so many that could win it. And it's one of those races where anything can happen. But when I think they didn't go, I didn't feel like they went a really strong pace. And I think, the ground had gone against horses like Royal Pagaille. There's some funny ones in there, like Asterion Forlonge, where you never know if he's going to be fantastic or do anything funny, and he could mess things up for anybody else, depending on who's anywhere near him. So, pre-race, it was really interesting, and there was so much that could happen. But coming down the hill with a few of them looking like they could come and pick up the pieces, when you think, well, Manila Indo's gone for it now, what's Rachel going to do? And then what seemed like just a little squeeze, and the turbo came on, and A Plus Tard just came from out of the pack like that. So impressive. I really, really enjoyed it. I was really, really shouting for him from 2 out, and thought, as I say, kind of thought that Manila Indo had gone away, and where was Rachel going to get back to him? But outstanding performance, and to win a Gold Cup like that with a turn of foot like he did. The novices that are going to come through and challenge next year have got some serious work to do if they think they're going to get anywhere near him. And then we do have horses like Galopin who, well, they absolutely could. So it makes it makes next year really, really exciting. Yeah, fantastic race. And I thought Protectorat to jump the last the way he did and finish the way he did was really exceptional too, to be fair, for what I anticipated would be heavily dominated by the Irish horses. So it was nice for Dan to get one into a place.
Ian, we'll come to you because we know you were big on a Plutard.
Yeah, I backed on our page. I backed or put up, should I say, at Plutard after his Haydock run. And then we had the finish in Ireland where Galvin just pipped at Plutard. I think it was literally by a whisker, if you want to say a whisker or nostril. But and that made me. Oh, I was a bit unsure on whether Plutard could go on to win. But yeah, it was unbelievable. Just reading the notes here, saying led the last, coming up to the last, and just see, as Lawrence said, just seemed to find a boost out of nowhere, won by 15 lengths in the end, which is absolutely insane. The other horse that we put up was Galvin, finished fourth, a creditable fourth in the end. I wonder if potentially, I think the original plan was for Galvin to go to the Grand National. So I wonder if potentially Galvin will skip Cheltenham and go for the National instead. So he's already won the National Hunt Chase, ran here well fourth, but I think a step up is definitely will be preferable. And my good old Santini come eighth in the Gold Cup and finally got his trip at the National.
He's a Grand National horse and could have won the year before. Oh.
Still needs about 6 miles, but no, it was, I had my pound each way at 66 to 1, but yeah, creditable weight. But yeah, very happy with Rachel, and as you guys have said, Lauren said, it should tee up for a nice Gold Cup next year. At Plutard, probably the same route again. So go to Haydock. I can't remember the race what it is in Ireland. Mine's gone blank.
The Savills.
Yeah, the Savills Chase and then Gold Cup. But yeah, it's very, very impressed. It's probably the performance of the day, I would say. Outstanding.
John?
Yeah, I mean, I was both impressed and surprised at the same time with just in the manner how he won. You know, it's almost like he just joined the race at the last fence and then just pulled clear of everything. It was just amazing. I didn't expect a Gold Cup to finish in that way. I thought there'd be a bit of a bunch finish in this. No, he was good. Rachel rode him superbly. Obviously, she picked the right horse this year, and you know, fair play to the pair of them. My pick, Galvin, I just don't think they went a strong enough pace, like Lauren said before. They did seem to crawl for quite a while. He obviously gets a lot further, and I just think he needed it more of a test. I think the same probably can be said for Manella Indo as well. I think he needed a bit more of a test rather than a sprint finish. But yeah, it was a really good race, to be fair. And there was a couple of disappointments with Ian's favourite, Chantry House.
Oh God!
he failed to mention him, yeah, but and
Hopefully somebody didn't put Chantry House up for the Gold Cup. My goodness!
No, wrong rate. I said Ryanair.
Oh.
Maybe he should have gone to Ryanair, but
yeah,
it was a good race. But you know, next season there'll be a few more challenges, and you know, we'll see what happens next season. I think a Plutard's maybe not one to back sort of Ante-Post either, because there'll probably be a stage in the season where he might lose a race, so his odds will probably drift out a little bit. So, you know, that tends to happen with Gold Cup horses. They do beat each other, don't they, during the season? So it may be another learning from that to wait till the day. So yeah, it was a very good race indeed.
Yeah. Alex?
Can't really add any more. Just amazing how he quickened after the last. It was like Rachel had turned on the DRS, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing performance. I think possibly the performance of the week from Plutard.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I backed Indo, and I thought after 2 hours I've got a chance, but Plutard, wow. Turfoot was impressive. We went and watched him get washed down, didn't we, afterwards, John?
Yeah, we saw him coming in, didn't we? So.
Yeah, I agree. Very, very, very impressive.
I've just looked at early betting for the Gold Cup next year, and Galopin, this is just with Hills. Galopin 7-2 favourite and Apple ties 4-1.
Wow.
Yeah, Ahoy Senor and Lompress both 10s. And then you have to go down to Manila Indo, who's at 16-1 to find the next runner who ran in it this year. So a lot of novices there.
How about Monkfish?
16s as well.
Oh, that's huge.
You may want to see him run yet, though, Ian.
Yeah, true.
I will move on to the St James's Place Challenge Cup Open Hunters Chase. Billaway won, second Winged Leader, and third Mighty Stowaway. Alex, come to you first.
Bit of a dramatic finish, wasn't it, in this race? Billaway looked complete. Looked like he was well held in second, and then just flew up the hill. Seen a few videos of people who'd obviously backed the horse in second and who finished second and were cheering as though he won already. But you know what it's like, some horses get to that hill and they just choke out, don't they? I think he's been second in this about 5 or 6 times. What is that? How many times? 2 or 3 times Billaway. He always seems to be second in this. So I guess
it was
he
only
managed to get his win
last
finally.
year.
Sorry?
It was only a nose last year, so Willie desperately wanted to win this trophy. It was, I think, it was one of those that he hadn't won before, and it's a really nice trophy. He said, "I've got to take that home with me." So, yeah.
Well, he's finally done it then. So, well done to him for winning another race. What is it? Oh, a ridiculous number this week. So, well, that week. So, the one I backed. I was given a tip from a guy that knows the local point-to-point circuit. It led for 3/4 of the way and then just pulled up, went from first to last in about 10 strides. So that went well for me. It was 150-1, so I couldn't really ask much more, but I got some excitement from it while it was running.
Yeah, John?
Yeah, the 2 I'd mentioned in the previews both didn't turn up again. Porlock Bay didn't turn up, and then Highway Jewel didn't turn up either. So I didn't really have much an interest in the race, really. I had a little punt on the one Alex just mentioned then, just for a bit of a fun bet. And like he says, we got excited for 3/4 of the race, but then he sort of just fell out the back of the TV, as they say. But yeah, Billaway, he's not a horse I'm a great fan of, to be honest, because of the way he's thrown away previous races. But you know, only Billaway could probably win in that fashion, because it was just all over, wasn't it, by the shouting, really. So I'm glad I didn't really have an interest on either of them, because it was the right sort of panic stations in the final throws of the race. But yeah, he deserved the win after those seconds, so they've stuck with him, and yeah, it's fair play to the Mullins team again.
Yeah, I mean, the one I put up was Vorsalet, that didn't turn up, and then I had a bet on Bob and Go on the day. That didn't go. So, did Patrick get a ban after this race for excessive use of the whip? I'm sure someone said he did.
I'm not sure, if I'm honest.
Cameron Cohen got one for his retirement ride in the Grand National.
Oh, Christ.
Good, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Lauren, we'll come to you then.
Yeah, so when I saw the entries for this race, there was only one horse that I was ever going to back in this, and it is Billaway, just because I've stuck with. He's one of those I've stuck with for so long, and it was he's been beaten a nose or a neck or a short head so many times. I thought, yeah, although he would be the favourite on the day, you know you're going to get a run for your money. And I thought the way that Winged Leader was going, 2 out, I've got no chance. I'm going to be second again, and it's not even going to be close. But it was such an exciting finish. My dad had actually backed Winged Leader as well, so it was he was celebrating, coming over the last, and I'm thinking, hang on a minute, Billaway's coming. And, you see the delight kind of drain from somebody's face. And obviously it didn't help that I'd backed it and was running around in front of him either. But yeah, really exciting race. And after a race like the Gold Cup, it's almost difficult to get yourself back into the racing, especially when you've seen a spectacle like like this year's was, but yeah, the really good quality finish and excitement definitely made sure that everybody was still paying attention, I reckon.
Yeah, he was still six lengths down at the last as well.
Yeah, he had no right to come and win it.
No, Ian.
Oh, this race made me feel ill. I tipped Wing Leader in our review, and I was absolutely. I watched it with my friends and family in the Centaur, and I was probably like your dad, Lauren. I was like cheering on because I thought it'd won.
I've already gone
6 lengths up. And I wrote here, I think at the third 3 out even, Billaway was still 10 lengths behind Wing Leader. But part of me thinks that I wonder if Wing Leader was trying to keep up with, I think, Mighty Stowaway with JJ Cobb was third and leading. I think they was trying to take each other on, whether Wing Leader ran out of path and just Billaway just come out of nowhere and won that way. But it made me feel ill. But no, but a good win for Billaway and a fantastic ride by Patrick. But I thought we had it in my pocket. I'm probably talking from my pocket, but yeah, it was a horrible feeling when you've backed the second. But it's always next year. But
Okay, we'll move on to the Mare's Chase. Ellie May, what can we say? She's a starter, isn't she? She was always winning this year.
Yeah.
I
poo-pooed her. I was wrong.
She was one of the bets of the week for me, I thought.
Tell us that now, Matty.
I'd said it earlier in one of the WhatsApp group chats.
Yeah.
Obviously didn't say it. And on the chart, when it comes to it, I said she wins. It's simple as that.
Yeah, you did. You did.
John?
Yeah, you would come to me, wouldn't you? Because you know I poo-pooed her as well. Yeah, I can't get the horse right, to be honest with you. She's just one of them that I can't get on the right day. I wasn't so sure if she'd be any good in a battle, but battle she did. She deservedly won it at the end of the day. You can't crab it at all. It was a good performance. I thought Pink Legend ran a good race in second as well. Ran an absolute blinder, actually, with the odds. My choice, Mount Ida, didn't jump a twig. And like I said on previous videos, that any horses that jump markedly right, I'm going to put a line through next year because they just lose far too many lengths at these fences. Especially this trip's probably a little bit on the short side for her. So she's just got no time to make it up. So yeah, I won't be doing that again. I haven't really taken much out of the race, to be honest. It's a race that hasn't really caught my imagination yet. It maybe needs a few more years of it, and the trainers need to start putting some horses in because I think only 7 went to post, which isn't very good, really, is it? I mean, obviously we have the Turners with only 4 as well, so
8,
I think it was 8. Yeah.
They need to sort this out because it's in danger of becoming too many small fields, isn't there? So yeah.
Ian, to you, mate.
No one I got wrong. I should have listened to you, Matty. But I picked Concertista.
You got it wrong. Concertista
was terrible.
Could she?
Terrible.
Yes, I've got here on my notes. I think she was 5th, 13 lengths behind Ellie May. I think she hit. What have we got here?
Flattered a few.
Yeah, made a mistake 3 out, shaken up, and then pushed along 2 out. So she didn't even get. She went off 2-1 favourite. Didn't jump with any fluency at all. I think she clumped about 3 or 4 in the end, and she was well beat. But no, a good performance by Ellie May. The horse that finished 6th, I think I backed in another race, was Vienna Colt with the Tristan Davises. But again, I think she got hampered. Maid O'Malley was the faller, and I think about 2 out, and hampered her, and that was her race over. But yeah, another good win for Mr. Mullins again with Ellie May. But as say, just to echo what John said, it's only 8 to 1 again. Probably wouldn't surprise you if it's the same sort of field again, but it could be smaller. It's bit of a nothing race at the minute, and they probably need to look into it and do something with it. But shame, really. And well, I just need to say about Venetia again, another big price second, as you just said, John. And it seemed to be a trend, especially during the week. But yeah, Venetia had a cracking festival.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with Ellie Mae for me was when she won a prep run at Nace, Willie Mullins said afterwards, there's no Colreevy in the mares chase this season. That's what strengthened my opinion on her again. Lauren, have you got much to say?
Yeah, so I backed Concertista, sort of reluctantly is the wrong word, but I guess tentatively, knowing that a bit like you, John, I think I'd probably never catch Ellie Mae on the right day either. So knowing that and thinking the competition from Mount Ida was going to be pretty strong as well, but a bit like the Hillcrest race, although obviously she did manage to finish, it's one of those where you know your fate pretty early that she just didn't jump a twig at all. There's a note on the racing post as if anybody needs a reminder, it actually says the jockey said the mare jumped poorly. I mean, we all saw it.
Yeah. Oh.
So, but yeah, that's just to obviously reinforce that she doesn't jump very well. And then you click into her and have a look at her entries, and she's back hurdling at Punchestown. She's going in the Champion Stayers, which is, well, she's 25-1 for the Champion Stayers, and then she is 10-1 in the Mares Champion Hurdle, which is obviously 2.5 miles. So, but I think as well, just on top of what you guys have said about the Mares program, I think that the Mares Novice Hurdle was a really good race, and you know we've said that there are lots of those that, albeit some of them might be ground dependent, there's lots of interesting horses in there. Okay, a lot of them will probably go to the Mares Hurdle, you know, stay on the hurdling route, but then when you look at the actual Mares Hurdle as well on the Tuesday, I thought Tell Me Something Girl was coming to win the race. She'll probably stay hurdling, but there are a lot of other horses that finished really well that would perhaps step up to chasing for this year. So I wouldn't say that it's a race to write off just yet. I think there are, and I think it's really important that we have the Mares program. You know, we look at some of the outstanding runners of the week being Honeysuckle and even Epatante finishing close up behind her. You know, they've come through. Well, Epatante, I'm not sure Epatante did actually, but obviously Honeysuckle came through the Mares program, so it is really important and does bring out some really good horses for the future. So let's hope that's.
I'm sure Epatante did. I'm sure she ran in the Mares Novice.
Oh, she might have. Yeah, she might have been in the Mares Novice.
Went off a really hot favourite, I think.
You did, yeah, definitely.
She wins the Mares Hurdle next year.
Yeah, I think maybe it's just going to take Yeah, I think it's just going to take a few years, isn't it, for them to come through, and maybe that in 3 years' time we'll be looking back saying what a great idea it was, and you know, and that we'll have another belter of a race. But I was just worried about with these intermediate races whether it's going to take away from some of the other races really. But as long as that doesn't happen, then hopefully it'll be all okay.
Yeah.
Alex?
Can't really add any more. I was just as disappointed as everyone else with Mount Ida, and just as surprised that Ellie Mae won. Just thinking about Venetia, I saw a stat that she had something. I think she had 11 runners, 2 winners, 2 seconds, and 2 thirds in that. So, considering the number of runners she had an amazing festival, didn't she?
Probably a better return than Willie, really, isn't it? If you count how many numbers how many runners he would have had.
I think she ended up with more runners than Nichols, but I think that probably says more about Nichols than anything else.
Oh, well, that's because it's not the most important festival of the meeting, and we like to save our for Aintree.
Don't get me started on it.
And then not win at Aintree.
And they're not win at Aintree. And leave the race at Cheltenham.
Yeah.
Oh, dear. That's another show, that one, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
We'll have a debate on that.
Invite me back when you have that one, will you?
Yeah.
Debate.
We just
we'll do that in the summer.
So then we move on to the Marlin Pipe, the last race of the festival. Who wants to start this? John, we'll go to you because I know you had the winner of this one.
Well, yeah, the saddest race of the festival this for me, because it means that we've got a year to wait, haven't we, again? So I always hate it when this race is going off. But yeah, I haven't mentioned him on any of the preview shows because I wasn't sure which race he was going. I think he was still entered in 4 races at the time, but he was on my shortlist, and Banbridge just did it very well indeed. Obviously, he was well handicapped. He's run since, hasn't he? At the weekend, stepped up in trip, and he didn't really go a yard. But yeah, on the day, he was a good winner. I mean, obviously, he got a bit of assistance from the early fall well, he got brought down, Langer down, was it? Second fence, was it?
Yeah.
Obviously, he was very, very well handicapped with his showing at the weekend. But yeah, Banbridge was a good winner. My other choice was Chemical Energy. Didn't really run much of a race, but it sort of fits in with a pattern of a lot of Gordon's handicappers, like I mentioned earlier. I think this race could be one to look at going forward because Party Business won at the weekend as well. He finished in maybe 4th or 5th in this at Cheltenham, and I like the way you're thinking as well. Finished second in that race and also ran the Marlin Pipe. So this looks like it should be quite a strong race. So yeah, I'd keep an eye on a few of these for next season as well. Get them in your trackers, the first probably 8, 9 or 10, and it could prove profitable.
Yeah, Lauren.
Well, on that theme, I'm just bringing up some pages here in the background. John saying to perhaps follow the first 9 or 10. Herbier was 66-1 and finished 9th in that race, and I'm sure so he's running tomorrow in the Lucky Last at Cheltenham at 5 o'clock. And the only reason I know that is because me and 3,499 other people have a share in a horse called Rock Legend, who is the 7-4 favourite in that race tomorrow. So I'm hoping that Herbier had a really tough race at Cheltenham and isn't going to be any good and won't be any match for Rock Legend, and might give me something to celebrate. But that's just a bit of a side point and a plug for tomorrow. My selection in this race at Cheltenham was Hollow Games, and I didn't have my binoculars with me on the Friday, and I was stood next to my dad and he's got his on. I was asking him, oh well, where is he? Because I couldn't, it's a bit one of those where there's quite a few runners and they're sort of all in a heap going out into the country. And Dad said, oh, he's that one with the red cap there. So coming to the last, I'm getting very excited when the wrong one with the red cap is heading up the hill, thinking, oh my God, I've had another fantastic day. But third for me that time, just picked out the wrong red cap. But yeah, very well done from Banbridge at a nice price. And obviously couldn't quite follow it up at Aintree, but it doesn't matter. He's had his big day at Cheltenham, so. Yeah, it was a good one to finish the festival.
I'd put Hollow Games up mainly for the Albert Bartlett. I just refused to back him really for the Marlin Pipe. I think he needs further. The ones I backed, I had the Goffer after chatting with Dave from Cheltenham. He made me have a little bet. Cobbler's Dream was the other one that I'd backed on the day. So it was between me and John coming to the last, so we landed the exact in. Other than that, not a lot for me. Alex?
I think just like probably every man and his dog, I backed Langer down Ante-Post. We got quite lucky because after his race at Taunton, for about 5 minutes, Sky pushed him out from about 10-1 to about 16. So I think a few of us hoovered that out pretty quickly. And then it was quite funny just checking the markets every hour, because every hour the price kept coming down as people sort of twigged that it was quite clearly a prep race, just to set him right for this. Obviously gutted he got brought down on the second. It would have been a very nice winner for me. And then he goes
one at Aintree, Alex.
Sorry?
Another one you backed failed and one
Another
at
one I
Aintree.
backed that then wins at Aintree. I know, yeah. 3 in the last.
I'm doing a Trixie. I'm doing a Trixie next year, Alex.
Sorry?
I'll be doing a Trixie entry next year.
Oh, I know. Yeah, me too. I'll have to just follow them all again the second time. So, yeah, as you can tell, I'm quite disappointed with that. But it's one of those things that happens, isn't it? It wasn't his fault. He got brought down. So, move on.
Yeah, Ian.
Yeah, mixed for me. I backed Langadan at 16-1. Brought down at the second fence. It wasn't a great start. But the one I put up in our preview was Cobbler's Dream, and ran a fantastic race in second, 11.5 just behind Banbridge. But yeah, it was a cracking finish. I too liked Hollow Games, but again for the Bartlett, and I still think he's crying out for 3 miles, and to put him in this 2 mile 4 race, I think was okay. Granted, it ran third, but I don't know. It's for me, it's screaming whether it's hurdles or whether it's chasing. It needs to go 3 miles next season. Yeah, very happy with my second.
Sorry, not all is lost, as Galopin Des Champs won this last year, so
True.
there could be plenty still to come from Banbridge or Hollow Games, Cobbler's Dream even.
No, I was saying impressed. They said Cobbler's Dream sadly didn't run any sort of race at Aintree, but I was very impressed with the second, and yeah, as you guys said, there's a few to take out for going into next season. But I'll definitely be keeping an eye on, especially Cobbler's Dream and Hollow Games. But yeah, not a bad finish to the festival.
Yeah, well, on that, I'll go around and ask the horse to take out for you, everyone, for next season. Mine's going to be Ante-Post on the Triumph. Hopefully he's going to keep his novice status, and I'll keep a watchful eye on him. Ian?
I'm going to go with Vauban. Even though I didn't back it, I thought he was very impressive in the Triumph, 2.5 length winner, potentially a threat in the Champion Hurdle.
Okay. Alex?
I'm going to go with Hillcrest because I backed him and he hasn't run yet. So he's probably going to win next time out.
It's going to be the RSA.
Yeah.
Lauren?
Wherever he goes next, just back him because he'll win.
Yeah, I would say both of those two, and probably the Nice Guy, just because he wasn't one that I'd noticed or taken note of previously, and obviously did it very well. So yeah, be interesting to see what trip and what sort of fence he goes over next year. Yeah.
John, land with you.
Yeah, I've got 2. State Man's definitely one. I'll be definitely keeping on the right side of him next year. And the other one, which isn't quite as obvious, is Field Door. I just think when he steps up in trip, it'll suit him down to the ground, whether he goes sort of a stayers hurdle route or whether he goes novice chasing. But definitely want to keep on the right side of him.
Yeah. Well, that concludes our Cheltenham Festival review. Big thanks to Alex and Lauren for joining us tonight. And we'll see you soon.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.